Welcome. Hi, Kathy, Massachusetts.
Hey, Kathy. Hey, Bijan.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Ooh, I was trying to get the distance to the camera to show off the shirt, but you nailed it.
Yeah, I had to work on that one too. Hey, listen, we're part of the Mozilla Builders crew, and we want to welcome you today to our showcase for the Mozilla Builders Fix the Internet showcase. I'm Bijan, Bart to my right, and Kathy below. Hello. And hey, I just want to say a couple of things about the event before we start. A moment of gratitude from the Mozilla Builders crew to everyone. We just want to thank all the teams and Mozilla and Mitchell for coming together and bringing our energies together so that we could incubate a direction to build a healthier and better internet. So thank you. And what you're going to see today are some awesome examples of what the internet could look like today. Check this out, cabal.chat. If this thing works and we all use it, we will have a global distributed social network that no government can shut down and will not need a single dollar of advertising to use. And if this thing works, we won't have to see magazine covers like this anymore. So check that thing out. But part of fixing the internet is also to make it more fun and accessible for people. Founders like Anna Blecker making Talium.co, that's Tailum.co, is maybe the fastest, hottest way to pop up a web page on the net. And if you're a gamer, you can have a little fun with Dark Forest out of MIT. This team not only figured out how to make a really fun game, but they're using the blockchain to distribute virtual goods, which is fundamentally the fabric of the next version of the internet. All these teams went through the incubator. Bart and more. Tell us more about the incubator.
Yeah, this is bringing me back. I think it was in March, Bijan, Kathy, when we had our first conversation about this. I think the way it all started is Mitchell Baker, who's on next, was asking us to help her think through what else Mozilla could do to bend the arc of the internet towards better. And so we had a couple of ideas of our own, but then we had this feeling that there's just a ton of pent-up energy, a lot of amazing people with terrific ideas that want to deploy the power of technology and their talent to build the internet that we all came here for, an internet that stands for open and opportunity and access to all. I was part of the Firefox 1.0 launch, and most recently, I'd spent 6 months or so helping DuckDuckGo. And so I realized that you could build really cool technology and really awesome businesses that are profitable and reach hundreds of millions of people, but that also help build a better world, help build a better internet. So basically we said, what if we could build a community and a place where all these folks with passion for technology and for building a better internet can come together, help each other, support each other, learn from each other, get access to resources. That was the idea. We put out a call for ideas back, I think it was in April, and thousands of people have responded. And we've built 3 programs. The Startup Studio, you'll see a bunch of those projects. Those are early stage startups where we're investing like an incubator, $75,000, and we get a little bit of ownership in the company. And some really exciting work came out of that. The second program is where we started in the spring, the MVP Lab. CS students, entrepreneurs, activists with project ideas that are super early, that are still trying to figure out what they want to build. And we're giving them $16,000 in no strings attached funding to work on their ideas and figure out what they want to build. And then the Open Lab, there's 3,000 people on our Slack, and we've had more than 500 teams now building in the Open Lab in a peer-supported environment. We have office hours, we have mentors, we have lots of resources, and we'll be showing off some of the best work out of the Open Lab. All of the projects that we're showing off today are open for business. They're looking for partners, they're looking for volunteers. In many cases, they're looking for team members, paid or unpaid. Most folks are looking to raise money. There's a lot of fundraising going on right now. Just last night, I got a call from Kanary, which is a Harvard team out of our Open Lab. They were just accepted into Y Combinator largely as a result of the mentoring and the work that they did with all the folks here today and on our Slack. So what it all adds up to is we're building a different kind of incubator where we're showing that you can build great businesses, great technology, great software that are helping to build a better internet. Kathy, tell folks more about the mission.
Yeah. Thanks, Bart. Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm a computer science fellow at the Mozilla Foundation and also one of the mentors over at the Fixed Internet Incubator. And we can't really talk about being a different kind of incubator without really how we got here and the principles and values of Mozilla itself that have really led us to this moment. I want to give a shout out, a nod to everyone who contributed to the Internet Health Report, which really laid the foundation for the initial categories that we even had for the Fixed Internet Incubator. It was focused on privacy and security, web literacy, decentralization, digital inclusion, openness, which were the foundation for ultimately how we started. And also a nod to our Mozilla manifesto. As you know, oftentimes movements take a long time, and it takes deep-rooted sets of values that have been in place for a long time. With the manifesto, we recognized that, at Mozilla, we recognized that an open global internet is the most powerful communication and collaboration resource we have ever seen. It enables us all to build a sense of shared humanity. And we also recognize that the internet has also magnified divisiveness, incite violence, promote hatred, and intentionally been used to manipulate fact and reality. So with this incubator, recognizing some of the items we have had in our manifesto and the Internet Health Report and a lot of the other work we've done at Mozilla, we aimed at looking at principles from our manifesto towards building for all the people of the earth and promoting civil discourse and human dignity and human expression that elevates critical thinking and verifiable facts and catalyzes collaboration among diverse communities working together for a common good. And we've been so privileged the past 7 months to have all of you builders and all these teams be part of this shared humanity to fix the internet with us. With over, as Bart said, 3,000 people globally, remotely during a time like this in our Mozilla Builders community, over 300 plus teams and companies and products to fix the internet. So to all the builders, thank you for trusting us with your journey and your ideas and your time and being a part of this Mozilla movement and community with us. And to everyone who really have laid the foundation and values for this concept of fixing the internet, thank you as well. So with that, with great excitement, I want to introduce you all to the person who really has been integral in all of this, the person who is a co-founder and CEO of Mozilla, the leader who has led the movement of an open, healthier internet for over 2 decades and continues to lead us in figuring out how to empower teams, to build organizations that create a healthier internet and world. So welcome, Mitchell Baker.
Thank you, Kathy. It is really great to be here. It is so exciting to have the Fix the Internet showcase, our first one, and to see and be part in some small way of the things that are happening and the ideas that are bubbling. When Mozilla was founded, first 20 years ago, actually inside a company at first, and then refounded a few years later as a nonprofit, we were founded to fix the internet. And at the time, we could see that the richness and wealth of the internet was out there, and that increasingly the opportunities were being controlled by a few big companies. Actually, in that era, just one big company. And so there were a set of us, a handful of people who could somehow imagine something different, and felt like we had the tools. Some technologists, I was there. We had volunteers. Just a range of people who could see that life could be different. And that was the force behind the founding of my co-founder and I and the founding team of Mozilla. And that's been true throughout the history of Mozilla. And eventually we made the Firefox browser, and in some way have become almost overwhelmed by the success of that product, in that people think of Mozilla as a browser company, or they think of Mozilla and they think of Firefox, but not the breadth that Bijan and Bart and Kathy described. But the core of Mozilla is this question and this drive to take this powerful tool, the technology of the internet, founded on open principles, and to continue to build on those open principles and to build something that has economics, has businesses in it, has economic productivity, but also builds into it the values that Kathy described. Like, we're human beings. Where are we in this system? Where are the products that represent us out in the world? And how do we take the power, the immense power of a global network, and aim it or build technology that brings out the best of humanity? You know, sometimes it looks like parts of the internet bring out the worst of humanity, and that bringing out the worst of us, the violence or the anger or the irrationality, is profitable. And that's a setting where it's unhealthy. We can see now, you know, when we started, a little handful of us with different view of the world, the internet was not enmeshed in every aspect of life the way it is now. So the stakes now are really high. And the idea that as technologists and entrepreneurs and people with ideas about products, we can combine with a view of what's good for a human, what's good for a human brain, what's good for society, what is the common good. Like, these are the ideas that were in the very early phases of Mozilla. And now at this phase, as Bart mentioned, like, it's really clear the problems are big, the opportunities are huge, and the set of people working on these things should grow, because we know that, like, we can do more and get further when we're not alone. There is the part of being a founder or a founding team where you have an idea that others can't see, and it's your idea to pursue. And that's something that each team does for itself with a particular project or product or business or idea. But the larger piece, the internet, can be better. We can have the power of a global network and also have something that's not as focused on divisiveness and quick, easy profitability through anger and rage or lies and targeting. But that larger idea, like maintaining that, giving it life, vitality, that's a job for a group of us. And that will be much stronger together, because we'll have many different explorations. Some will work, some won't. Like, that's the nature of things. But all of those things, as we're connected and as we have, if we build community and we understand each other, like, even the things that don't work teach us, and then we can join with others and do new ideas. So that it's a little bit of that, like, there's the big idea of taking hold of the technology and imagining something different and building it. And that, as a group, like the ability to be a resource for each other and to inform each other and inspire each other, that's that one aspect. And then there's the individual teams building and exploring different things. Who knows exactly what will work? And probably over time, the really big ideas will be the combinations of work from different sets of us as we come together and find the things that make sense to combine. And so this Fix the Internet showcase, I hope, I'm grateful to each of you. I hope it is the first of a long-going effort of the set of people who can actually imagine the world being different. Because one last piece of history from Mozilla that I'll mention is this idea that we can actually make something different. That turns out to be a radical idea. You know, in the early days when we founded Mozilla, the idea that Microsoft wouldn't control everything was a crazy idea. And look where we are today. And so just imagining that the technology doesn't have to be the same way, the products don't have to be the same, and then going on to actually do something about it and build something different and check out opportunities. Like, that's the challenge, that's the opportunity in front of us. It's really important. As we make progress on it, it's really invigorating and exciting. And I'm just thrilled to be here and to see the first inauguration of this kind of work. So thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell. Hey, you know what I love about entrepreneurs? When some of us see the forest, entrepreneurs see the light. Next up is Chris Atakeka with our Conscious Capitalism Founder Panel. Hey, Chris.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's kick it.
Thank you, thank you. So my name is Chris, and I'm one of the mentors at the Mozilla Builders. and this is a panel about conscious capitalism. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the concept, conscious capitalism is a new form of capitalism that runs on 4 guiding principles: a higher purpose, stakeholder orientation, conscious leadership, and conscious culture. So allow me a few minutes to set the context here. And we have Marissa here. Welcome. Let me set the context, and then I will invite Marissa to chime in. So before the world shut down, I was at the World Economic Forum. One of the famous CEOs from Silicon Valley made a comment that shook the news headlines. He said, and I quote, "Capitalism is dead." Sitting there in the audience, I quietly thought to myself, I don't think I fully agree with that statement. Because personally, I would like to argue the opposite. Capitalism is not dead. In fact, it's working too well, exactly as it was designed to work. The current capitalism was designed around the lone hero entrepreneur, the unicorn mindset, the hockey stick type of growth, monopolies, zero-sum game, winners take all. And it's no surprise that there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. So we can all agree that the system I just described has been perfected and it's working too well for a few, leaving the majority of the population behind. For a while, the world economy sat literally on the shoulders of the slaves. Most recently, that same economy has shifted and it's sitting on the attention slavery, also known as the attention economy. Along with the benefits and the victories provided by the internet and capitalism come consequences that are alarmingly detrimental to society and our planet. So if we have to design a better capitalistic, better world, what do we need to do? Well, instead of the unicorn mindset, we need to adopt a zebra mindset. The zebra mindset thinks regeneratively. It thinks win, win, win for the profit, planet, and people. So zebra companies put humanity and the planet at the center of their mission. So I'm very honored right now to dive into the conversation and invite our first panelist, Marissa. Welcome.
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So your team at Neutral is focusing on carbon offset for e-commerce, right? So helping us create a higher consciousness around our buying and consumption patterns. If all e-commerce was neutral, what impact would that have on society and the planet? Take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for the great question. I guess I'll start from the beginning. With on-demand services today, like Amazon Prime, the environmental cost of your entire shopping process is essentially hidden from you, from the production of your good down to the mountains of wasted packaging and even millions of transport miles to get your packages to your doorstep. So I guess to start this all off, we built Neutral because we truly believe that there needed to be a way to unveil this information and also inform shoppers about the environmental cost of the products that they buy. So, and it just, to answer your question, what would the impact of essentially decarbonizing e-commerce be? With Neutral, we want to, utilize this growing demand right now for transparency and this momentum so that we can begin holding institutions accountable for their supply chain, their environmental and sustainability practices. So, ultimately, we believe fixing e-commerce is an important part of mitigating the climate crisis. And it just so happens that with Neutral, we've really proven that for the everyday shopper, it's actually one of the easiest places to start. And yeah, we're we're really excited to keep moving and pursuing this mission of ours, and are so grateful for Mozilla for supporting this vision that we have.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marissa. We and the world needs you. So keep building. Thank you. Thank you. So next up is more of our conscious capitalism panel. So we got Rachel Vrabek, Lynn Smook, and Uzoma Orchingwa. Welcome to Mozilla Builders.
How you doing?
Hi, guys. Well, Rachel, I would like to start with you. So tell us the simple 1, 2, 3 of surveillance capitalism. Why should an average internet user be concerned about their data and their privacy? Over to you.
Thanks, Chris. You mentioned the attention economy, and surveillance capitalism and the attention economy go hand in hand. So you can think about surveillance capitalism as sort of one level higher than that. It's like a system of informants, like a bunch of private investigators, but on the scale of billions. And these private investigator informants, they collect as much information about every single person on the internet as possible. And they do that so that they can aggregate this information and create profiles about each one of us, and then sell those profiles to companies who make money selling us products. So it's a pretty simple ecosystem when you break it down. But when you start comparing it to other things and kind of why we should care, it's like we're a rat in a maze. Like that's the level of data that companies and these informants are collecting about us when we're online. And just like a rat in a maze, they do that to try to figure out why we buy what we buy and how they can influence us to do things differently, like buy a different product or vote for somebody else. And I think the reason why the average person should care really depends on what motivates you as a person. So it's like there are financial implications. The data economies are billions of dollars. And these sort of informants and private investigators that are going around and collecting information about us, a lot of it's just hearsay. So it's a ton of wasted value in our system. And I know if you're familiar with like Andrew Yang, he made very popular the idea of like giving that economic value back to people, right?
Yeah.
So there's a financial reason to care. Then second, if you care about privacy, like these systems, these informants, they're not refined. So they collect any information about you that they can. It became popular a couple years ago that Facebook was doing psychological studies on their users without consent. So they were measuring whether you were feeling socially isolated and depressed, and you had no say in that, and like who knew that information about you.
So tell us really quick how is your team looking at solving this in like a line or two?
Yeah. So we believe that you should have control over who has access to your personal information. So at Kanary, we're sort of reversing the systems that have allowed these informants to collect the information, giving you the power to remove your information from their databases.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. That's very, very powerful. Thank you, Rachel. Also with us, we have Lynn, whose team is working to decentralize citizen journalism. Lynn, we hear a lot about misinformation. So nowadays, the big media channels can be worrisome sometimes, right? How does citizen journalism promise to shape society differently? Take it away.
All right, thank you. Here at Hackanoon, I think a lot about the flow of information. So if you think about traditionally how we receive information is typically via things like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. So it's a group of very prestigious journalists that create the kind of information that people historically trust. Now, with the rise of social media, you see another group, like that's where the citizen comes in the words citizen journalism. Well, questionably not journalism, but it's very accessible. Everyone can have an opinion, and sometimes very trustworthy opinions, and it spreads like wildfires. So here at Hackanoon, we try to combine the goods of traditional journalism as well as the good of social media, making it accessible for everyone. Anyone who has a keyboard can publish on Hacker Noon, and as long as they have any kind of expertise on technology. But unlike social media, there's a big question mark about how verified, how good the information is from social media. Until lately, Twitter wouldn't put any kind of fact checking, any kind of flag around any information. And really the 2016 election kind of revealed that hole. But really, we don't think that's enough. We need always another set of eyes to look over the information and then have vested interest disclosed in the author bio so that people know these people are representing which interests. And there has been one human looking over the stories to say that, this is enough for people to look over and judge for themselves. I think so. To answer your questions, to combat with misinformation, we need accessibility as well as the verification process to make it worthwhile. And we're trying to do that at Hacker Noon. We're not saying we're perfect, but combining the good aspects as opposed to just throw a towel into traditional media or into social media, I think would be the better way to.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lynn. Uzdoma, welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Doing?
So bring us home, man. Bring us home. We are where we are today, not because of broken people, but broken systems. Your team at Amelio is building solutions that are conscious about systematic treatment of people. What have you learned about the importance of conscious criminal justice system? And also, I'm interested to know how you pulled off building such a big community so fast. The stage is yours, sir.
Thanks so much. I've learned that the current design of the criminal legal system and the many predatory companies that are profiting from it are destroying the lives of millions of families, forcing them into debt, and decreasing the likelihood that those who are released will succeed. We vitally need a more conscious criminal legal system, one that puts people over profits. So Emilio's taken on one of the worst actors in the space, the for-profit prison communications industry, which is dominated by just two companies. These companies right now are charging families up to $25 for a 15-minute phone call. And as a result, a third of these families are going into debt simply trying to maintain contact with their loved ones. So we decided to build a free alternative, a mobile app that enables users to send free letters and postcards to any incarcerated person in the country. And a free video calling platform that enables families to stay connected remotely. Free communication for the incarcerated is vitally important because research shows that the more one stays in contact with their families, the better they do post-release. So we want to use tech to accelerate the creation of a more humane and rehabilitative justice system. And we hope that other innovators are going to join this space with more conscious companies. Because beyond just the for-profit telecom industry, there's also the commissary industry, there's also the financial industry that's charging families extortionate prices. As your other question as to why we grew so big, I think a lot of it is really not due to us, it's just due to how vitally important alternative companies are in the space. When you're charging families up to $25 for just a 15-minute phone call and a free alternative enters the space, a lot of people are going to gravitate to it. And so take all the credit. We built a great team, and the mentors at Mozilla were incredibly helpful. You guys were the first people to take a risk on us. Bijan and Bart were our mentors when we were only sending like 10 letters a week, and now we're up to about 5,000 letters and postcards a week.
Wow.
And by next year we'll be sorry. Yeah. So just really want to thank you guys,
Another question I have for you really quick before we get off air right now. You have built the audience, but you also have captured people's imagination and the way you tell the story. So share with our audience how to tell the story that captures people's imagination, the way you've done.
Yeah, so for me, I have a personal relationship to this problem. I had childhood friends who were incarcerated, and that's really what kind of sparked my interest in this space. So a lot of the work we do is connecting with families, telling their stories, getting the public more aware about this problem, because a lot of people don't really realize that families are actually have to pay such exorbitant fees to stay connected. So we've been working on highlighting these stories and really trying to get people to galvanize around this issue. And yeah, so that's how we've been doing it.
Cool, man. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very powerful words. Thank you, Zoma. Thank you for our panelists, Marissa, Rachel, Lynn, for sharing your powerful stories and wisdom with us. Folks, there you have it. Humanity is at the crossroads. The explosion of capitalism and its exponential advancements are reshaping what it means to be human. A promised world in which everyone has opportunity has led to a deeply unequal one. So knowingly or unknowingly, we are rapidly throwing off humanity and our social systems. So I'm very, very hopeful that we can, we must, and we will fix the internet. We will reinvent and fix unconscious capitalism, because the survival of humanity and our planet depends on it. Thank you.
I read once, passingly, about a man named Shakespeare. I only read about him passingly, but I remember one thing he wrote that kind of moved me. He put it in the mouth of Hamlet, I think it was, who said, "To be or not to be." He was in doubt about something. Whether it was nobler in the mind of man to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, moderation, or to take up arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing, end them. And I go for that. If you take up arms, you'll end it. But if you sit around and wait for the one who's in power to make up his mind that he should end it, you'll be waiting a long time. And in my opinion, the young generation of whites, blacks, browns, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution, a time when there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built, and the only way it's going to be built is with extreme methods. And I, for one, will join in with anyone, don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth. Thank you.
So, how do we kick this mission into action? It's now time to hear from some of the founders who've got their hustle on to fix the internet. Before we start the pitches, just want to let everyone know there are 5 categories that we're going to be presenting through: privacy and security, the decentralized web, alternative monetization, publishing and tools, social and content. All these companies today are open for business, raising money, onboarding users, and looking for builders to collaborate with them. Before we start, Patrick, can you drop the contact link into the chat, please? So right now in the chat, you'll get a link to how you can get in contact with all the businesses and the teams that are presenting today in the incubator. You can take a second to grab that link. I'm going to drop the link 2 or 3 more times in the event. And next up, Tanya Soman, Private and Security.
Hi there. Thanks, Bijan. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to kick off the Fix the Internet pitches. My name is Tanya Soman. I was a venture partner at 500 Startups for nearly 6 years and have spent this year as an investor and mentor here with the Mozilla Builders Incubator. When we think of fixing the internet, oftentimes privacy and security are the first areas that come to mind because they're the pain points we experience as a user. Technology and the internet have given people freedom and allowed us to connect faster, sometimes at the cost of privacy. With technology advancing rapidly, the conversation has become much more prevalent. At Mozilla, we believe every individual should have the right to share personal information. And the following companies are building solutions within security and privacy to create a better and a safer internet. Up next, I'm pleased to introduce Kanary, RethinkDNS, Block Party, Mobius, and Tonga. Let's see some pitches.
I'm Rachel, the founder of Kanary. The way we define identity theft is wrong. It's not about social security numbers anymore. It's about protecting the hundreds of accounts we each have online that are used to identify us. Unfortunately, account theft is doubling year over year. And last year alone, over 500,000 Americans were impacted by account takeovers. And this problem's only getting worse. 18 billion personal records like emails, passwords, and usernames are leaked every year. And when a company like Uber leaks our data, they wait a year to tell us. The way we're protecting our personal information online is broken. And that's why we're building Kanary. Kanary is the only service that actively monitors the internet for where your personal data is being leaked and removes you from the sites that put you at risk. We launched this summer at Mozilla Builders and have grown our revenues 55% month over month. We believe that in the future, just like everyone uses antivirus to protect their devices, people will want to use Kanary to protect their online information. Let's fix the internet.
This is Murtaza, co-founder at Cell0. For the past 3 months, we have been working on RethinkDNS. RethinkDNS protects your smartphone from advertisers and trackers. Why did we build this? In the era of smartphones, billions are subject to relentless surveillance and censorship. This amounts to never seen before behavior control and mass propaganda. This is enabled by millions of data points collected by apps and services that you may or may not even trust and sold to the highest bidder. Well, things are really, really bad out there, but not all hope is lost. What if you could keep these apps in check and monitor the connections they're making and block them from making these connections? Well, since launching August 15th, we have built 30 plus features that let you do this. We have amassed over 10,000 plus installs from users over 150 plus countries. Some of the things you could do with the app are block individual apps from connecting to the internet, set device-wide rules like block any app from connecting to the internet when the device is locked, or block any app from connecting when they're not in the foreground. You could also view a network log of all the internet flows from your device, firewall apps the way you want to, or firewall individual IP addresses. RethinkDNS is free and open source. Try it out and do let us know what you think. Thank you.
My name is Tracy Chow, and I'm the CEO and founder of Block Party. Block Party is a consumer service that gives people a cleaner, safer online experience by running in the background to filter out harassment and unwanted content. I started this company out of my own experiences as an engineer building moderation tools at social platform companies, as well as a diversity and inclusion activist and visible woman online who's been targeted by harassment. Our beta product allows people to link their Twitter accounts, configure filters for what they'd like to see, and whatever doesn't pass those filters, Block Party will place into a lockout folder for later review if desired. People continue to use Twitter as normal, and it's just better. Since January 2019, we've been hard at work building a web-scale service to clean up the trash in people's mentions, with over 3 million mentions reviewed already and over 230,000 accounts muted. Our users love that we make their Twitter experience so much better, and we're excited to scale the service and help even more people participate online safely. To request an invite or learn more, please visit us at blockpartyapp.com. Thank you.
We're the Mobius Project, and we're building platformabuse.org, a knowledge source of technological harms and mitigations to guide safer product development. Our team has experience in civic tech, privacy and security engineering, ethical ML and research, and our mission is to help product teams fix the internet. We know that every digital product has the potential to harm people. So here's how our tool can help. Simply enter the features that you're building, whether it's community forums or user accounts, and see how they can enable abuses like doxing or hate speech. Clicking into one platform abuse, find out critical information about affected audiences, potential harms, and even known mitigations. This is information that you can't find anywhere else online in a centralized location. Product teams can also hire us to conduct abusability testing for them to make sure that their products are safer. Today, we know that platform abuse not just harms users, but also affects your user acquisition, retention, and engagement. And that's why we're here to help.
Hi, folks. So the early web was pretty simple. At least I remember it being that way. If you had a text editor, FTP client, you knew a little bit of HTML markup, you could make a web page, upload it to a server, and then anybody on the entire internet could come and check it out. It was pretty amazing then. It's still pretty amazing today. And then a billion people showed up, and making web pages and web apps got a lot more complicated. In many ways, for the better. Our browsers and mobile phones now have amazing technology inside that we can realize rich interactive apps. We can post content, we can do video. It's pretty great. The platforms we build the web and our apps on have evolved a ton in 20 years. But the fundamental client-server model is identical today to what it was in 1993 when I started writing web pages from a university newspaper. The decentralization has been pretty good. Sometimes simplicity leads to an amazing bounty. We've had a lot of amazing things happen on today's web, right? Amazing experiences. But it's become very complicated to host content. It's become a sort of a privilege that only the biggest company in the world can afford to participate in publishing simple pages, simple content for millions or billions of people. And the internet more or less assumes that your connection is perfect. And in many places in the world, it's far from perfect. This is the next big piece of the web and the internet that needs to evolve. These next teams are all tackling this big evolution. It's often called the decentralized web. I think if you look at it from a technology perspective, we talk about blockchain and peer-to-peer, distributed storage, taking advantage of all kinds of crazy JavaScript stuff. There's a simpler way maybe to look at it too, though. The technology is there for a purpose. I think the purpose we're starting to see is that community-owned and curated platforms are not only possible, but they're the future. So everyone we're going to see now is building this decentralized future today. Let's hear their pitches.
I'm Brad Cam, co-founder of Unstoppable Domains, and we're building domain names on the blockchain. Before I talk about the blockchain, let's talk about what's wrong with the internet. Users are not in control. Massive centralized companies decide who can use the internet. They're motivated by profit and are subject to political control. Because the internet is centralized, governments can take down users, prevent them from publishing, and spy on nearly anyone. It's possible to rebuild the internet using new technology, the blockchain. We've built DNS on the blockchain. Domains are stored by users in their wallet. Website content is stored on decentralized storage networks like IPFS and Filecoin. This is the shift that the internet is needed, putting users in control of their data and their assets. And we're already starting to see this shift happen. Since March of 2019, 40,000 people have registered more than 400,000 domain names. Instead of registering at traditional registrars like GoDaddy, they've been using our registrar at unstoppabledomains.com. Domains work in 24 cryptocurrency apps, and both Opera and Brave browsers started supporting blockchain DNS this year. As with any tech in its early stages, the decentralized web needs thought leaders. Browsers are the gatekeepers of the decentralized web, so who better than Mozilla to provide this thought leadership? We've spent the past several months working with the Mozilla builders in the Open Lab to understand how browsers are approaching the decentralized web. We built prototypes and planning documents to determine how to start rolling out decentralized architecture to the world. 24 months from now, we could be radically transforming the internet. If we bring the decentralized web to the world, we can put individuals in control of their lives in a way that was never previously possible. Thank you.
Cabal is a platform for peer-to-peer group chat, where devices connect directly to each other without servers to share messages. We built Cabal for a world where you can't assume a reliable internet connection. An uplink costs money and isn't an option for many areas outside of the metropole. The internet could go out, or a commercial host could pull the plug at exactly the moment when it's most needed to coordinate during a disaster or unrest. With Cabal, there are no full outages because you can always sync device by device, receiving data from peers many times removed from a direct connection. And unlike federated options, there are no servers to administer, no domains to register, and no accounts to create. Anyone can make a new Cabal, send the link to friends, and start chatting. Moderation in Cabal is subjective, where everyone is an administrator of their own chat experience. Visit cabal.chat to learn more.
Since the launch of Bitcoin in 2009, the world has been captivated by the vision of an internet-native currency that's flexible, borderless, and evolves with the times.
Bitcoin launched a vision for peer-to-peer electronic cash. Ethereum introduced the idea of programmable money. However, both projects have fallen short of their grand vision because transaction speeds are simply too slow and fees too high.
Meet Solana, a blazing fast, nearly free blockchain. These two factors lend Solana the scale necessary to make cryptocurrency useful for everyday people.
We're Juku Labs, and we're building Orca, the first user-friendly cryptocurrency exchange on Solana. 18 months from now, we'll be the backbone of a new internet-native economy that connects people all over the world, no matter their country of origin or local currency.
Want to learn more? Tweet us at Orca Exchange on Twitter or join the Orca channel on the Solana Discord. We'll be waiting.
Hey everyone, we're Dark Forest, and we're building a fully decentralized, massively multiplayer online strategy game using zero-knowledge cryptography on Ethereum. Zero-knowledge cryptography has advanced by leaps and bounds in the last 2 years, and for the first time, certain applications of ZK cryptography are now viable in production. In particular, zero-knowledge cryptography enables a much wider class of decentralized games to be built, games which involve hidden information, a critical component to the complexity of many multiplayer games. We're using these advances to build rich and expressive digital worlds on the blockchain with the goal of creating universes with real economies which can be built on and freely modified by players. If you're curious to hear more, check out Dark Forest at zkga.me. You can also check out our developer blog at blog.zkga.me or follow us at @darkforest_eth on Twitter. Thanks.
Hey everyone, we're Team Trophy. Our mission is to make direct farm-to-consumer produce affordable and convenient. To do so, we needed to develop a network of suppliers, group buy leaders, and consumers, just like Uber did.
In Toronto, we launched an MVP to connect farmers to a decentralized network of food distributors. We were able to move over $10,000 of produce through our platform in a month. Our process enables farmers to skip the traditional middlemen, the grocers, distributors, and shippers, all the while connecting the local community to their food supply.
In doing so, we realize there's a lot of work to be done on the distributor side, and so we've been working on making the process of ordering from local farmers easier for everyone. We've learned a ton about this complex industry, all thanks to this opportunity given to us by Mozilla builders and our wonderful mentors, Noah, Bart, Bijan, and Tanya.
Hi, we're Quadrant Technologies. We make AI solutions accessible to hospital systems by providing a plug-and-play tool that simplifies curation and analysis of AI models.
AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, and investors know this. Health AI is more well-funded than any other AI sector, but we have yet to see widespread adoption of AI in healthcare. In fact, over 70% of hospitals don't have any AI solutions implemented.
Speaking to CIOs and heads of operations of many hospital systems, including Stanford, Wake Forest, and UAB, we found that AI implementation is messy. Hospitals either use unsatisfactory prepackaged solutions or have third parties make custom-built solutions with huge risk to patient privacy. So, how do we ensure hospitals can source high-performing AI models from developers?
Enter Quadrant. We've created a secure layer that sits between hospitals and model developers. Our product allows hospitals to source and evaluate custom-developed AI models without developers ever accessing patient data. This enables the curation of high-performing, deployment-ready healthcare solutions.
We're currently doing a pilot with Stanford Healthcare and plan to expand availability of our tech to more hospitals for Q2 2021.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria Alegre. I'm the co-founder and former CEO of a company called Charboost, and now a partner at Mozilla Builders. One of the areas we believe can fix the internet is building alternatives to ad monetization. As long as content is offered for free through advertising, we'll have issues around data and privacy. During the summer, 3 companies in our incubator have built and shipped alternatives to ad monetization with micropayments and sharing computer resources. 2 of them are presenting today, Massive and Arc. Let's see some pitches.
Millions of people access premium applications and websites by paying money or viewing ads. But billions of people in emerging markets don't have that access. How do we level the playing field? Massive lets people pay with a resource that almost everyone has, their unused computing resources. Our SDK lets desktop developers offer some of their features in exchange for a little bit of their users' unused processing power and bandwidth. We then commercialize these resources to generate up to 25 cents per user per month. It's like Airbnb for your computer, but instead of earning money, users earn premium access. Imagine getting Spotify, Netflix, the New York Times, antivirus softwares, and other valuable services for free and with no ads. We started by mining cryptocurrency on desktop and are expanding to monetize in other ways and to mobile. We know it's working because we just started launching integrations and already have tens of thousands of weekly active users with over 90% monthly retention. We're both expanding initial pilots and adding new partners that should add millions of users in the next year. At Massive, we're fixing the internet by offering a new way to pay, making it accessible to all.
I'm Ansgar. I work on Arc. For the past 25 years, there have been 2 ways to monetize software and the web: ads and payments. This has resulted in colossal wealth and centralized power in the hands of a few. But now, for the first time, thanks to advances in our devices, the networks that connect them, and new browser technology, it's possible to build communal distributed networks native to the web. Arc is decentralized cloud services powered by browsers. Here's how it works. A website adds Arc in 1 line of code. Then Arc loads content from people's devices near you rather than slower, more expensive servers. We rent this bandwidth shared by users as a distributed content delivery network, and the website gets paid the proceeds. How do we know this is the future? Arc is live on 1,500 websites and generates tens of thousands of dollars in new revenue for them every month by uniting 20 million people who share 6 billion pieces of content. And we're doubling month over month. 3 years from now, Arc will be a new pillar of monetization for software and the web. And we'd love for you to join us on the adventure.
Hi, hey, all right. A new internet is possible. A lot of these teams have been super kicking ass. If you want to get in contact with these people, you can check out the contact link. Patrick, will you drop the contact list to the company, to our spectators right now? So I'll just take a little second. If you're interested, grab that link, pop it open in your browser, and feel free to just click on any of the companies you want to get in touch with, and they'll get in touch with you. And next up, let's see. I could drop a beat for you, but we got Butterscotch from Davis, California. Welcome, Butterscotch.
What's going on?
Hey.
All right, here we go.
seems like everything today is just going wrong. We can fight to stay together and strong. We can make it if we try. The road may be long, but I believe we will survive through it all. With you by my side, there's no chance we'll fall. Come on, we are all we got. We're all we got. We're all we got. We are all we got. We are all we got. We're all we got. All we got. We are all we got. There's a man living on the street with no shoes, playing guitar, asking for money while he sings some blues. Have you ever stopped to think what it's like? Got no home to lay your head on your bed at night. A knife of a night has left us blind. No more war, no more dying. Can we leave it behind? Illuminate the sky so we can see what the world with love supposed to be. We are all we got. We're all we got. We're all we got. We are all we got. We are all we got. We're all we got. All we got. We are all we got. We're destroying ourselves, we're destroying nature. Who I gotta talk to in legislature? I can't even breathe without inhaling death. More than half of our nation is sinking in debt. We're trapped in a system that has never done us good, but we keep on rising. Gotta get about the hood. Too concerned with politicians, change starts with us. We've come too far to be in the back of the bus. Not just talking black, all colors included. Nobody on earth deserves to be excluded. From my people in the Amazon, my people in the ghetto, to my people with the trailer parks living in the meadow. Everyone deserves a chance to see a change in their world. We owe a bright future to every boy and girl. I'm sick of seeing the same losers. Time to put it to a stop. I'm never quitting on the clock, cause you and I all we got. Yeah. We are all we got. We're all we got. We're all we got. We are all we got. Come on, come on. We are all we got. We're all we got. We're all we got. We gotta fix the internet to make this world a better place. Fix the internet. Yeah. Come on. Let's fix the internet.
All right. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Word up, Butterscotch. Thanks for dropping a beat for everyone. Okay, so a couple things before we drop into the next round of pitches. The internet is not perfect. One of our teams out of Kenya has built an amazing privacy and security tool. They're called Taonga. We're going to drop that pitch sometime between pub and tools and social and content. The next two categories, publications and tools, and then social and content. Before we jump in, Patrick's going to drop the contact list in the chat in case you want to reach out to one of these companies. And next up, we have Holly Liu, Publishing and Tools. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bijan. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Holly, co-founder of Kabam, a mobile gaming company, and was a visiting partner at YC. I'm currently one of the mentors at Mozilla Builders. At Mozilla Builders, part of fixing the internet is allowing more accessibility for anyone to create. There are a lot of people who still have trouble getting pages on the web and layers of other friction when it comes to publishing. You still need to know how to code and no-code tools. But when that friction goes away, there is more publishing, giving everyone accessibility and thus keeping the internet free and open. We also believe that advancing the web as a platform for application, whether it be the technology itself or the usability and simplicity of the tools that these builders create for us, is a way to also build a better internet. In this set, You will see companies that enable you to manage your entire calendar from your browser in motion. With Pori, you'll be able to create a web page or a web app just from an Airtable alone. And you'll also be able to create the fastest web page using Talium. Let's see some pitches.
Hey guys, I'm Anna and I'm building Talium. Talium is the fastest way to publish a web page. So let's say I'm a chef and I'm hosting a pop-up. Let's go ahead and choose the theme that I like. Let's paste in the title of this pop-up, Taco Boudreaux. Throw in a background image. Cool. Now let's go ahead and add some content. Talium is a rich text editor, so you can customize fonts, colors, add images, links, image effects, all of that good stuff. And you can even customize the interface of the page, illuminate your margins, make your canvas as wide or as narrow as you want, and you can even switch to dark mode. All right, I think this page is good to go. Let's publish. Boom, it's a live published URL. I can share it with whoever I want, sleek, mobile friendly, and the best part is it didn't take an entire week to make. So far, people have used Talium to make things such as event pages, job posts, and business proposals. I'm stoked to see what you guys are going to make with Talium.
I'm Harry, co-founder and CEO of Motion. We're building Superhuman for the browser. Motion is a Chrome extension that turns your browser into a powerful work application for professional knowledge workers. We let you load web apps instantly right from any page. For example, if you're messaging someone on LinkedIn and trying to schedule a meeting with that person, instead of having to go to your Google Calendar, Motion lets you load up your Google Calendar instantly right from the LinkedIn page and be able to schedule meetings right from there. We also let you manage tabs, documents, and work tools easily with shortcuts and commands. If just the top 5% of Chrome users pay for Motion, we would have a $12 billion market size. Motion's team have known each other for a very long time. We went through the Y Combinator Winter 20 batch, and all of us have a CS degree and are technical. Previously, we were high-frequency traders and software engineers at top firms. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Sam, and along with my co-founder Looney, we built a no-code tool called Pori to help you create beautiful web applications using Airtable. Since joining Mozilla Builders in July, we now have over 130 happy paying customers. We've helped create over 1,000 websites. Jake built a personalized recipe library and is now talking to angel investors. George is sharing techniques to help product management teams, and his site got number 2 on Product Hunt. Melvin is helping people in Asia Pacific impacted by COVID find remote jobs. Software development is expensive. We have personally met so many founders who have spent 50 to 100K building applications that got little to no traction. We're democratizing software development. Technology should enable and facilitate creation, not be a barrier to entry.
Hi, I'm Patrick, a co-founder and the founding CEO of Rotten Tomatoes, and one of the mentors here at Mozilla Builders. In the category of social and content, there has been a lot of good, connecting with friends and family, publishing of seemingly limitless amounts of professionally produced content, creation of entertaining and sometimes valuable user-generated content on a massive scale. But at the same time, social and content has created problems on a similarly massive internet-breaking scale. Some are clear-cut: privacy and security, trolls and online toxicity, misinformation and disinformation. But some are not as cut and dry. Anonymity, where users are more likely to be toxic, versus real names, where you run into privacy issues. There's moderation to try and combat toxicity, but taken too far, it can lead to censorship. Personalized news feeds can give you useful and relevant content, but you can also end up in a filter bubble. Monetization through advertising helps publishers survive, but also incentivizes clickbait articles. All of these problems represent an opportunity for innovation. The following presentations are from the startups in our program that are building in the social and content space. Take a look, and if you think they are interesting, apply to the Mozilla Builders program and help us fix the internet. Let's see some pitches.
Hi, we're Realms. I'm Richard, and I'm with Roland. The internet is not a safe or authentic place for everyone's voice. We use Twitter, Facebook, Reddit for group and public conversations today. The problem with these forums is that what you post will stick with you forever, making it dangerous for people to safely explore an idea or have a voice. People are trolled, doxxed, bullied. Employers track you, fire you, or don't hire you based on drips and drops of online conversations. In fact, 63% of Americans are afraid of sharing their political opinions today.
So what can we do? How do we build an internet where you can safely speak your mind in public? We built Realms. We believe it's the first social site to enable people to join groups with their real identities, but post and comment anonymously. At Mozilla Builders, we've launched and pivoted through a number of blogging and social tools, and now we're testing Realms with hundreds. Let's create a safer realm for everyone's voice online.
Hey, I'm Jimmy, and this is Super Duper. We built this because we noticed that the content that we consume happens on these publishing platforms like Medium and YouTube, but the best conversations and content discovery happens on socials like Reddit and Twitter. So we bring those conversations right to you on site when it's most relevant to you. So what it looks like on the New York Times, you can actually see the articles that are trending on the internet or within your friend groups, rather than just having to browse headlines. On individual articles themselves, SuperDuper acts as a kind of comment section, one that isn't as siloed to the actual publishing platform and feels a lot more natural to engage with. And we also allow you to share and save annotations and highlights with the rest of your network. All in all, that's us. We're trying to fix the internet by bringing the best conversations all over the web directly to you without you ever having to search for it.
Which one do you think was posted on Instagram? Obviously, the left one. Let's face it, every post is judged by hundreds and thousands of people where you can no longer share what you're really thinking or feeling.
To get around this, thousands of Gen Z and millennials are being forced to create Finstas, known as fake Instagrams, which are private accounts for your 10 to 20 closest friends. But Instagram was not built for this. Finstas are hard to create, manage, and still have tons of features that people don't want. And this is why we're building Oval.
Oval is the place to share your authentic self to your closest group of friends. It was designed to promote genuine communication through a 25-person friend limit. With Oval, every single post is from someone you care about.
We're working on bringing back the magical allure of early social media platforms, which was simply to keep up to date with those you care about most. These platforms have since optimized for our attention, and we clearly see that this no longer satisfies our human need for the true, meaningful social interaction.
So if any of this interests you, come connect with our team. We most likely won't be in each other's ovals, but we will help you stay close to your closest friends.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jem, and I'm part of the Neutral team, and we're so excited to share what we've built. Now I get it. We love to shop online. So much so that from Amazon alone, we've emitted over 15 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere over the course of an entire year. Now, we know you want to do good by our planet, and we built Neutral because we truly believe your online shopping is a great place to start. Now, let's see how it works. With Neutral, you're able to easily view the carbon footprint of your product along with its physical and environmental costs. So let's say you really need this coffee machine. After uploading to your offset wallet, based on the carbon footprint of the purchase, Neutral provides you with the exact amount to donate to a non-for-profit organization to neutralize your environmental impact. Now, all that's left to do is to select the checkbox. And it's as easy as that.
Neutral will deduct the offset from your wallet balance. Now you are shopping carbon neutral. Since launching, we now have over 70 paying users with 1.2 thousand extension downloads and have offset over 100,000 pounds of CO2 as a community. Thank you, and shop neutral.
I'm Hauker, the founder of Cosme. Despite the many meeting apps available, I still haven't found an online hangout that feels like getting together in person. Zoom is for meetings, Slack is for work, and Discord is for gamers. But what about the rest of us who just want to get together without planning or a specific purpose in mind? That's what Cosme is for. It's a place to meet up first and choose what to do second. You can watch videos together, play card games, video games, and so much more. All with unique ways to embed voice, video, and text chat. And we make it much easier to invite friends and do things together than any alternative. We already have 15,000 daily active users, 70,000 weekly, and 220,000 monthly active users, showing we're well on our way to achieving our mission. We're here to humanize the way people interact online. Cosme is a place to gather, not a place to post. Thank you.
Every month, 100 million people tune into podcasts. It's a third of the population. They do it using the internet. But the internet was more about broadcasting. It's about connecting. So we built Voice Blast. It's a platform where creators and listeners can interact and have conversations, sending voice messages back and forth. It's like the radio. Not really. It's more like talk radio, but at the scale of the web.
Hi, I'm Adrian, and we built Voice Blast at Mozilla Builders. In a few short weeks, we've had dozens of creators and listeners having fascinating conversations, from entrepreneurship to energy to music and meditation. It's been phenomenal. By next year, hopping on the Voice Blast would be as exciting as tuning into YouTube or listening to podcasts themselves.
Hey there, I'm Brittany, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Mogul Millennial, and we are a media platform for young Black entrepreneurs and professionals. Black entrepreneurs are underserved and underfunded, and on top of that, research tells us that Black Americans spend 44% more time than the total market searching for career and business content online to help them grow. Unfortunately, the media and the internet underserves us and treats us with the general market approach, and it's not working. Because of that, I created Mogul Millennial, and we curate smart content, virtual programming, and resources to help the Black community grow. One of the resources that we're preparing to launch is Lunch Like a Mogul. Lunch Like a Mogul is a free 6-week educational series built specifically for early stage Black startups. Through Lunch Like a Mogul, the startup founders will be able to learn everything from how to build an MVP, how to get customers, how to market their product, fundraising tips, and more, and it's all taught by Black startup leaders and investors. If you have any questions or if you want to learn more about Mogul Millennial or Lunch Like a Mogul, let me know.
Hey, it's David Smook with Hacker Noon, and for our Fix the Internet project, we did emoji reactions. And so this is a way for readers to react to stories at the story level, paragraph level, text level. They've been live for a few weeks on the site. We've seen about 30,000 people give reactions, and those people that give reactions, they stay 6 or 7 times longer on the site. So it's been a good, valuable experiment for increasing reader engagement and having just a better community of technologists on Hacker Noon. And I also wanted to give a big shout out to the Mozilla community for helping us push slogging forward, and that's Slack blogging. So we built a new app where the best discussions on Slack, you can choose to have them submitted as Hacker Noon stories. And that's slogging. And thanks for the Mozilla builders for being early adopters. Later.
Hello, my name is Saran, and I'm here to tell you about Disco, the lynda.com of audio courses. Audio is one of the most engaging and flexible ways to learn, and we're building an audio-first professional development platform. We help employers increase engagement, increase retention, and save money. We're really excited about the early traction that we've received. With a 3-week pre-order period with $0 spent on marketing and no product, we closed our first enterprise client, which was Twilio. We launched subscriptions and we generated over $11,000 in revenue. We're also currently in talks with 7 tech companies with over 200,000 employees to roll this out to their community members and their employees. A little bit about me. I truly am the perfect person to execute this idea. I have over 6 years experience producing audio, specifically in professional development. I have 6 years of enterprise sales experience. My audio content has done very well with over 8 million downloads, and I already have an acquisition under my belt in the audio space. And for bonus points, I'm a technical founder who designed and produced and built the app that's currently in production. If you want to learn more, feel free to reach out, saran@heydisco.com.
Imagine a future where you can securely store and share your personal documents like your passport all from your phone. With Talonga, that future is here. I'm Ashni, a former software engineer from Square, Microsoft, and Amazon. I'm also a multinational citizen from 4 countries and have a lot of personal documents. 6 years ago, I looked for a way to share these with my family since we travel frequently, but couldn't find any, so I built an ad hoc spreadsheet. This was fine, but it was not mobile friendly, was really hard to update, and extremely hard to share without creating security risks. Earlier this year, I started talking to other travelers, immigrants, and families who have the same issues. Couple that with rising concerns about privacy and security, and you have a fairly untapped $11 billion market. In the last few months, I've built an early prototype and have 35 beta testers. We're a growing beta waitlist of both individuals and businesses waiting for access. We're currently focused on building additional features to give users complete control over access to their personal documents through self-expiring link sharing, retroactively revoking access to documents, and integrating businesses for zero-knowledge proof ID verification. Talonga is fixing the internet by ensuring everyone can securely store and share their personal documents. Join the waitlist today.
Thank you, builders. This is 25 companies that have been building to fix the internet this quarter. However, we're not done. We're about to hear from the Open Lab. Patrick, drop the contact list. If anyone hasn't had a chance to get the contact list and wants to get into touch with the company, feel free to grab the link in the chat. All right, next thing. Scotty just called me from the engine room, part of fixing the internet, glitches in the system. Here, me at the control panel, I actually have to press a button. Everything should be smooth. If it's not smooth, you may have to reload your browser or click on the link, but it should be smooth. So I'm going to press the button, okay? Hold on. And we're back. I think we're all back. Hey, remember, we're building the robots. The robots can work for us. Next up is our Open Lab, our community program. And I'd like to introduce Noah and Bart and the crew to talk about the Open Lab. Noah. Hey, Noah. Hey, Bart.
Bijan.
Hey, Shu Yao from Dubai. Welcome.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
Hey, everyone. I'm Noah Karish. I'm a serial entrepreneur, technologist, and advisor here at Most Builders. And I'm so excited to presenting the Open Lab Awards. So Mozilla's mission is to create a healthier internet. And in that spirit, we created Open Labs to support and foster as many ideas, projects, and builders as possible. We're working to do just that. Open Labs is a Mozilla Builders community program. So teams joined Open Labs for 3 reasons: to tap into the community of builders, the mentor access, and the support and resources. And here's how it works. The program is self-directed and turnkey. So teams fill out weekly status reports, and they have access to peer-led events, one-on-one mentor office hours, private Slack channels, and Mozilla speaker events and more. Hundreds of teams with thousands of builders from across the globe joined in and have truly built an amazing, supportive, and super active community. The community of builders working to fix the internet range from venture-backed startups to brand new products just getting started, to nonprofit and cutting-edge computer science and social science research projects. Most of these teams have been with us for 36 months, and all the award recipients today have made major progress on their project, have been contributors to the community, and are aligned in Mozilla's mission to create a healthier internet. And next year, we hope to continue this important work and support thousands of builders around the world. Building a healthier internet is a global endeavor, and the recipients of the Builders Award represents that, as they are based in the US, UK, Pakistan, Nigeria, Kenya, Romania, Ireland, India, it's a long list, Switzerland, Denmark, Germany, Spain, Vietnam, New Zealand, Poland, Netherlands, Indonesia, France, Russia, Canada, and Thailand.
Dubai. California.
Dubai. We said the US. So
hey,
now we're gonna have.
I added them all up with Guida this morning. I think we're at like 480. I think we're at like 485 projects that have been in the Open Lab so far, which is kind of incredible. I think that's like probably somewhere north of 1,000 people. Right?
And it was so hard to narrow down the top 15 recipients of the Mozilla Builder Awards. And so with the Mozilla Builder Award, you will receive a $1,000 grant, as well as a badge to be able to say that you won the Mozilla Builders Award. So I'd love to present them. If we could have the next screen so we can do that. One more. All right, so first up is Geeko. They build and assess developer CVs and skills through an open world RPG game. Trust Market. It stops website phishing and cyber theft by verifying websites through AI and search algorithms. Credder. A news review platform, the reputation layer between news producers and audiences. VO. It makes it easy to start a video game project for anyone. No tech skills needed. HugNote. Send virtual hugs from your smartphone. And bear with me, we have 15 teams to go through. Raven Protocol, which is a massive distributed computing network on the D-Web for AI and ML training. Rendezvous. Sharing your screen is so 2015. Project your browser and application window into live workspaces and get real work done. VenturePool provides strategic information for venture investors around industry, market segment, and companies so that they can support their investment decisions with deep data. Campop.tv, a one-click video platform to stream live shows, build community, and monetize. Umbrel. Umbrel is the, quote, Linux of the Bitcoin network, creates self-hosted Bitcoin nodes on hardware as tiny as Raspberry Pi without any software, hassles, or complexities of third-party systems. And the last ones are Joe the Fish, a browser plugin that protects you from phishing and unethical businesses. Her Health Kit, a privacy-first online women's health platform throughout Africa, first launching a screening tool for urinary infections. Learned Africa, an edtech platform for schools and teachers looking to monetize their digital content. Memex, share your online research with collections, pages, and highlights. And Adacraft, an easy programming tool for creative builders derived from MIT's Scratch project. Now, we're not done yet. We have three, we'll call them grand prize winners. And the way that these winners work is that one of them gets $2,500, one of them gets $5,000, and the grand prize winner gets $10,000. So if we could go to the next page. So for our grand prize winner, in the $2,500 category, we have Redocracy, which is prove your credibility around different topics by tracking and referencing the content you consume and go deep on. And with a $5,000 award, we have Human ID, a viable alternative to central IDs, Google and Facebook, based on anonymous SSO. So congratulations to all those winners. And I wish we could have a drum roll, but drum roll for our, thank you. Our $10,000 prize winner goes to RelayNet, an amazing company. It's yes, and we can put it back on so I can just read to everyone what it is. An emergency internet mesh network that enables cell phones and computers to mesh together to provide information services during internet blackouts, brownouts, or shutdown. Such an important company. Congratulations to all of the award winners. We're so grateful and proud to be a part of your journey. Thank you.
Hey, Noah. Wait,
yes.
Can we see? There we go. So it's been so much fun working with the teams in the Open Lab and the office hours we do every Wednesday. Beautiful community, a lot of people helping each other. All of these projects, so the first 15, they're getting $1,000 and bragging rights, a label.
Yes.
Amazing work. And then the last 3, they get more money, including Shia, who's here. We also have built a contact page for these projects because they're all open for business, right? And I think the URL for that is bit.ly/Mozilla Open Lab. And that's a capital O and a capital L, Mozilla Open Lab. And I think hopefully somebody will post that on Hopin in the chat, so you can check out those projects, get a hold of them, volunteer, give them money, etc.
Yes. Thank you, and enjoy your chat.
Well, you stick around, Noah.
All right, I'll stick around.
So yeah, now we're joined by Shuyao, who's with Human ID, one of our community members and one of the prize winners today. Shia, the work you're doing, it's so important, and it's some of the hardest work that's going on the internet and some of the most important work. So tell us what Human ID is.
Yeah, sure. But first of all, I did not know we won a prize, so good job hiding it from me. I'm pleasantly surprised. So anyway, so Human ID is a open source, privacy-focused single sign-on designed to replace logging with Facebook.
Love it. And why did you guys start Human ID?
Yeah, sure. So Human ID is actually started by my co-founder and fellow classmate from Harvard Business School, where both of us graduated this year. He founded Human ID because he was living in Indonesia and realized that political campaigns were really corrupted by bot network. And I joined force with him, obviously, because I grew up in China where the same issue happened. And also my background was in blockchain and crypto with Consensus, and later on as a product manager with Brave, privacy, and a fight against disinformation are really close to my heart.
And thank you. It's such important work, such beautiful work. How can people help?
Come talk to us. We're looking for, actually looking for clients. Right now we're live. Our tech is ready. One of the clients that is extremely close to my heart, I'm really proud of, is a whistleblowing application in Japan that allows migrant workers to report issues and ask questions.
I'm getting cut off by Bijan. He's telling me we're hitting some time limits. So I'm going to thank you. Congratulations. And back over to Bijan.
Sorry, the engine room does not lie. Hey, we've got a minute and a half left in this event. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all the builders and the audience out there and everyone that wants to participate. We're going to do one more thing. In the last 2 days, the Mozilla Builders community, actually Hunter from the Super Duper team, helped us build a forum site for the Open Lab. Patrick is going to drop the link in there. Go click on the forum site and write how you think the internet needs to get fixed. By doing that, it'll help us build a better platform for the Open Lab. So click on the link, check it out. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next batch.